All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get the meeting started for this evening. My name is Tony Rackley. I'm the vice chairman. The chairman is out this evening helping her mother who fell. We're going to get started by doing a roll call. I'm going to start with the members of the commission on my far left this time, since I'm on the far right, and we'll go from there. If you'll state your name, please.
Ben Klosuski.
Don Watson.
Diane Maxwell.
Michelle Garrison.
Evan Cantrell.
And I'm Tony Rackley. I'm going to be reading this thing pretty much verbatim because I usually don't do this. So we're going to begin by the review and approval of the minutes from our last scheduled meeting on October 26th. Wow. Do I hear a motion to approve these minutes as presented? Mr. Cantrell makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Hearing no more discussion, do we have any more discussion on the minutes from October of last year? All righty. Hearing no more discussion, I would like to call for the vote. All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand and saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please indicate by saying no. The motion is carried by a vote of all ayes and no nays. All righty. We've got our first item up this evening, number 2A. And that is, we're going to waive that motion to table until February 22nd. And that's voting for the chair and the vice chair, since the chair is not here this evening. And I hear a nomination and second for the plan. We want a motion to basically move this until February 22nd meeting. Can I have a motion to move that until February 22nd?
I make a motion to move it to February.
Commissioner Garrison,
February 22nd.
thank you. Second?
Second.
Got it. All right. Any discussion on that? We're not discussing. The motion is carried by ayes on the right hand, please. Everybody do that. All ayes, no nays. And we'll cast that. We'll do that in February. All right. The first item that we actually have up this evening is item 2B, new business. And that is the zoning map amendment. OZF LLC, Nick Franchina, is requesting a zoning map amendment for two properties, both located on Athens Street. And that's TMS numbers. You see it on the screen, I hope, no. And that's rezoning. Staff will provide more details on this request. Please, Mr. Foreman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As you mentioned, this is a zoning map amendment request from R75 residential to RD residential duplex. The applicant, OZF LLC, requests an approval to amend the zoning map for two parcels totaling 15,000 square feet, which is a 0.34 acres total, located on Athens Street from R75 residential to RD residential duplex. Future land use map for this area, the 2018 Travelers Rest Comprehensive Plan, provides for low-density residential category for the subject parcels. Just a quick update on the RD district. That's section 512 of your zoning ordinance. RD is established to provide for 1 and 2 family dwellings and the recreational, religious, and educational facilities which are normally found in residential areas. The district is primarily intended for areas which represent a transition between low-density single-family development and high-density multifamily development, and for sites which are located in predominantly low-density areas, but which are determined to be unsuitable for development under provisions of a multifamily zoning classification. Athens Street, the road that it sits on, is a 2-lane city-maintained road. There are no flood zones located on the property according to the 2019 flood insurance map. For utilities, final approval from Metro Connects and Greenville Water would need to be obtained to serve these properties, and that would happen prior to building permits being obtained. As far as review criteria, the Travelers Rest zoning ordinance does not contain any specified criteria that must be considered by the Planning Commission when reviewing requests for rezoning. However, the following criteria are typical of review criteria used by other jurisdictions, and those criteria are A, consistency with the comprehensive plan, or if conditions have changed since the comprehensive plan was adopted, consistency with the overall intent of the plan, recent development trends, and the general character of the area. B, suitability of the site's physical or environmental features to support the breadth and intensity of uses that could be developed in the proposed zoning district. C, compatibility of potential uses permitted in the proposed zoning district with surrounding uses in zoning districts. And D, capacity of public infrastructure and services to sufficiently accommodate all potential uses allowed in the proposed district without compromising public health, safety, or welfare. So in conclusion, based upon the above referenced criteria, staff provides the following findings. In regards to A, comprehensive plan consistency, the 2018 comprehensive plan categorizes the subject property as low-density residential. This proposal is generally in line with the future land use designation. B, site suitability. Staff is not aware of any physical or environmental site suitability issues regarding the RD residential duplex use of this property. Based on visual evidence, it does appear that 206B Gray Street utilizes a portion of the subject properties as location for ingress and egress, so additional consideration will need to be made for continued access to this property if it is developed. C, use compatibility. The proposed site is adjacent to single-family uses to the north, south, and west, and is adjacent to vacant property to the east. And D, site infrastructure capacity. There appears to be sufficient sewer and water capacity for this request. The requested use does not appear to compromise public health, safety, or welfare. The proposed text amendment directly addresses 3 of the City of Travelers Rest 2018 Comprehensive Plan core challenges, those being number 2, improving land use form and character, number 3, ensuring housing affordability, and number 6, preserving older neighborhoods and creating new neighborhoods of lasting value. Revising the zoning map in the manner prescribed by this map amendment will directly benefit the city's ability to meet those recommendations as set out in the land use chapter. In addition, duplex developments built within the scale and character of an existing neighborhood meets the intent of the missing middle housing model by providing key opportunities for affordable infill products. The site would be subject to the Travelers Rest Zoning Ordinance Section 613, which establishes design standards for single-family attached products. Section 613 ensures that development takes place in a manner compatible with and consistent with the context and scale of an existing community. A neighborhood meeting was conducted on November 9th, 2023 at the Athens Baptist Church on Little Creek Road. 28 people signed a sign-in sheet that night. Concerns raised by those in attendance include overcrowding, traffic, and potential high costs. Public hearing was advertised in the Greenville News on January 7th, 2024, and public notice signage was placed on site by the applicant on January 9th, 2024. Based on its findings, staff recommends approval of this request to rezone the properties from R75 residential to RD residential duplex. And that concludes my staff report.
Thank you, sir. Is the applicant here? Mr. Franchina, wish to make any comments or provide additional details on this particular? Please.
Nick Franchina, the applicant. Mike did a great job. I mean, it's missing middle housing is what it is. It's going to give the opportunity to put, 4 residential residents where 2 would be normally, or rentals are going to be in the range where it's affordable for the workers downtown to walk back and forth to work, things like that. But that's about it. If y'all have any other questions, I'll defer. And if y'all need me to come back up, I'm more
Thank
than happy to answer.
Fellow commissioners, does anyone have a conflict of interest or ex parte communication disclosed for this request, None. Well, hearing none, I'm going to open the floor to public hearing, for the public hearing about this item. If you would like, yes, we're getting to that right now. If you would like to share a comment, please approach the microphone, give us your name and address, and sign the form in front of you likewise. You will have 3 minutes to share your comment, 3 minutes. Remember that this is a public hearing, not an opportunity for back and forth discussion. Also, and this is huge also, if someone speaking before you has already made your comment, please just state you agree with their comment. You do not need to restate the entire comment. And that pretty much is it. So I'm going to open the floor up to any public comments that need to be made or would like to be made at this time.
My name is Hannah Burnside. I live on 98 Pine Ford Road. I've been a resident of Travelers Rest for 26 years. Athens community is my home. I grew up playing in the streets in the park area. All of my family and close friends still live there. I want to say to the committee on behalf of Athens community, we reject the idea and we reject the proposed duplexes on Athens Street. Our reason is that our community holds such historical significance, and any development that alters the character and the charm would be detrimental. We seek to preserve the unique heritage and the architectural integrity that defines our community. The introduction of the duplexes may lead to increased property taxes for the entire neighborhood. Many residents may find it challenging to shoulder the burden of higher taxes, potentially leading to financial hardship and displacement. To be clear, we don't want any more homes being built in our neighborhood. Instead, we propose that you add to Athens Park, fix the sidewalks, and do other things that may be necessary to improve our neighborhood. Honestly, most of you have probably never stepped foot in our neighborhood and only to ask to build something. You don't know the residents of Athens community, because if you did, this wouldn't be up for discussion. Please consider this petition signed by many who lived in the community and who are opposed to the proposed duplexes. We will continue to petition and raise awareness. That is all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I will be emailing a copy. I have 7 pages of signatures of those who disagreed with this duplex.
Does anyone else from the community have any more comments, or is she speaking for everyone in the community? Okay. Hearing no more comments, the floor is now closed for public hearing. Do any members of the commission have any questions for the staff or applicant?
How many units are you planning to have, Mr. Franchine?
We're gonna be building 2 units there, and
4 families
Yeah.
total? And the bedroom, bathroom, how
be
many?
2-bedroom, 2 baths.
And what was the range of the rentals that?
Probably between 11 and 1,200. We're open, you know, we're gonna be holding them for rental. We're open to, if the city ever wanted to work out anything with some kind of subsidized housing with it, we don't have a problem with that either. Residents,
They're vacant now, is that?
it's vacant lots, that's correct.
Are you just purchased the 2 along Athens Street?
3 total lots there. There's two on Athens Street, and there's one that was cut in behind it with a small house. That house will remain.
What, and it will be landlocked, what,
There's an easement that was in the back of the house before that came up. That's been cut off for years. They've been coming through the 2 lots, so what we'll do is we'll put a shared drive and easement through there to basically service the back house that's there.
that'll go on the
Plat,
plat?
it will.
Done already that,
There is not a plat done on that yet, but once we get down the road, we will have that taken care of and put an easement in place to back house.
are they gonna utilize that, the back lot, the landlocked lot, going to utilize any amenities like trash pickup or anything that they probably have done already? I don't know if that's gonna affect the lots and the residents there.
I mean, trash is offered by the city, if I'm not mistaken, so they'll just roll it up to the top of the driveway like anyone else and have them trash.
Is there consideration given to just building a single home or 2 homes?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we go ahead and put single homes there, there's new homes that were built right across the street. I think they sold in the 350s, 400s. So really, if we build the rental houses, or the rentals, where there's not gonna be a sale, it's not gonna affect property taxes at that point. And one day, they will sell, but we plan on holding them for at least 10 years plus.
There's new houses that's been built in that neighborhood recently.
Directly across the street from these lots.
These gonna be brick?
They're gonna be vinyl.
Oh, okay.
And so architecturally, to address a concern, how will that fit into the neighborhood?
We
as it-
brought pictures of them to
Okay.
the meeting with, that met with the community. I had one of my members in my office showed up over there with, like,
All right. Any more questions, commissioners? Everybody? All right. Hearing no more discussion, Well, first off, I'd like to have a motion from the commissioners to approve or to deny this request.
So you're
Do I
asking,
hear a motion for this request to deny or approve?
I move to deny it.
Second.
I have a motion to deny, and I have a second motion to deny. Commissioner Garrison. Any discussion on this, commissioners? Hearing no more discussion, I would like to call for the vote. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by raising your right hand and saying aye. All opposed, please indicate by saying nay.
Aye.
Aye. So by the majority of votes to deny, motion to deny this request is carried by a vote of 4 ayes and 2 nays, with commissioners casting and dismissing votes. This particular motion is denied.
Just for clarification, the motion to deny was approved
That's
4 to
correct.
2. This this will still move forward to council with the recommendation of denial, just for your own edification.
All right. Moving along, item number 2C. We're having a new business TR 24-01, an annexation request. Christopher D. Bowers and Gerald Wayne Bowers are requesting annexation into the city limits for 2 parcels, both located along East Bowers Road. Staff will provide details of this agenda item. Mr. Foreman, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. What you have before you is an annexation request. There is a subsequent rezoning request that will come after this. This does not require a vote by recommendation or a vote at this time by Planning Commission. This is for your own edification. Annexation request was made to the city for 2 parcels, 129 and 132 East Bowers Road, totaling 49.63 acres total. The subject parcels, if annexed, will be utilized for 87 senior adult single-family home sites, with 7 homes utilizing Coleman Road for access and 80 homes utilizing East Bowers Road for access. South Carolina Code of Ordinances, Section 513-150, Paragraph 3 prescribes steps for a 100% petition and ordinance annexation. Planning Commission does not make a recommendation, as I mentioned, on this annexation request. However, since the property is undergoing a zoning map amendment concurrently, the Planning Commission must hold a public hearing and consider that zoning request. Therefore, this annexation request, as you see it, is for informational purposes only, and this next agenda item will get into some more of the details.
Thank you, sir. Since there is no further items we need to cover on this particular section, we'll move on to item number 2D, new business, the TR 24-02, which is basically a continuum with this first thing we were talking about just now. The zoning map amendment request. Deep River South Development is requesting a zoning map amendment for 2 parcels, both located along East Bowers Road, from unzoned to FRD, Flexible Review District. Staff will provide details of this request. Once again, Mr. Foreman, please.
Sir, thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay, so this zoning, as I mentioned, this request was made to annex from the two property owners. As part of that annexation request, there is a zoning map amendment request that must go with it concurrently. They are requesting a zoning map amendment from what is currently unzoned county property, or in the unzoned unincorporated county, to FRD, which is our flexible review district, and I'll get into a little bit more detail of what all that means. So a little bit of background, the applicant is requesting approval to amend the zoning map for two parcels totaling 49.63 acres total, located at 129 and 132 East Bowers Road to FRD Flexible Review District. The property will be utilized for 87 senior adult single-family home sites, as I previously mentioned. As part of this FRD request, the applicant provided a preliminary development plan, a natural resources inventory, a statement of intent, and a traffic impact study. The information is included with the packet, and I'll pull up the preliminary development plan, so this should be in your packet, but just for your own edification, my computer has chose a wonderful time to be very slow. This is the preliminary development plan I referenced. As far as future land use map, the subject parcels, as I mentioned, are located outside the city limits in unincorporated Greenville County. The 2019 Greenville County Comprehensive Plan's future land use map has the subject parcels designated as Suburban Edge, which is a low-density single-family classification. Subject parcels, as referenced, are currently located outside the city limits and are in unincorporated Greenville County and are unzoned. So as far as the FRD that they're requesting, the intent of the city's FRD zoning districts, the intent of the FRD districts are to provide a way for inventive design to be accomplished and to permit development that cannot be achieved through conventional zoning districts due to the parameters required therein. As per the City of Travelers Rest Zoning Ordinance, Section 515, which the FRD zoning resides in, applications require inclusion of a preliminary site plan, which you have before you, a natural resources inventory, which is included in your packet, and a statement of intent with their submittal. The applicant has provided that information as required. The existing uses around the site are mostly either vacant or are agricultural or single-family uses to the north, south, east, and west. The roads, Coleman Road is a two-lane city-maintained road. Coleman Road is on the west side of this property. East Bowers Road, which runs on the north side of the property, is a two-lane county-maintained road. A traffic impact study was conducted by the applicant in late 2023. Based on the results of the traffic impact study, auxiliary turn lanes are not warranted at this time, and no changes were recommended in the traffic impact study at the intersections affected by the proposed development. There is a 100-year flood zone located predominantly along the southern and eastern borders of the subject parcels according to the 2019 flood insurance rates maps. Utilities final approval from Metro Connects for sewer and Greenville Water must be obtained to serve these properties, and they would have to be obtained prior to any building on the site. The project area is made up of forested uplands, managed fields, currently 4 non-wetlands waters, which are tributaries, and 2 forested wetlands. A wetlands delineation study was conducted on site in late 2023. A total of 10.99 acres and 3,074.4 linear feet of waters in the forms of 4 non-wetlands waters tributaries and 2 forested wetlands were identified within the project area. A protected species habitat assessment was conducted by the applicant as well in late 2023. A population of over 100 individual bunched arrowheads were observed and documented on the site at the northwestern portion of the subject parcels. The project design avoids all impacts to aquatic resources, the area that contains the bunched arrowhead population, and the hill slope above the seepage wetland. As I mentioned before, criteria for rezoning requests, the Travelers Rest Zoning Ordinance does not contain any specified criteria that must be considered by the Planning Commission when reviewing requests for rezoning. However, the following criteria are typical of review criteria utilized by other jurisdictions. A, consistency with the comprehensive plan, or if conditions have changed since the comp plan was adopted, consistency with the overall intent of the plan, recent development trends, and the general character of the area. B, suitability of the site's physical or environmental features to support the breadth and intensity of uses that could be developed in the proposed zoning district. C, compatibility of potential uses permitted in the proposed zoning district with surrounding uses and zoning districts. And D, capacity of public infrastructure and services to sufficiently accommodate all potential uses allowed in the proposed district without compromising public health, safety, or welfare. Based on the above reference criteria, staff provides the following findings. A, in regards to comprehensive plan consistency, the subject parcels are located outside the city limits in unincorporated Greenville County. The 2019 Greenville County Comprehensive Plan, as I mentioned earlier, the future land use map, has the subject parcels designated as suburban edge, which is designated as a low-density, single-family classification. B, site suitability. As I referenced, there is a 100-year flood zone, Zone AE, located predominantly along the southern and eastern borders of the subject parcels, according to the 2019 flood insurance rate maps. In addition, a population of over 100 individual bunched arrowheads were observed and documented on site at the northwest portion of the subject parcels. Bunched arrowhead and bunched arrowhead habitat must not be impacted, I repeat, must not be impacted by the requested project. All appropriate best management practices to avoid negative impacts to wetlands should be adhered to by developers. The applicants are proposing, as part of this application, 62% open space, so about 30.93 acres. Of that open space, 17.33 acres will be undisturbed. Use compatibility, the proposed site is adjacent to single-family, vacant, or agricultural uses to the north, south, east, and west. And site infrastructure capacity, there appears to be sufficient sewer and water capacity for this request. The requested use does not appear to compromise public health, safety, or welfare. The proposed text amendment directly addresses two of the City of Travelers Rest 2018 comprehensive plan's core challenges, those being number 4, managing growth, and number 6, preserving older neighborhoods and creating new neighborhoods of lasting value. Revising the zoning map in the manner prescribed by this map amendment will directly benefit the city's ability to meet those recommendations as set out in the land use chapter. A public hearing was advertised in the Greenville News on January 7th, 2024, and signage was posted on the site by the applicant's representatives on January 10th, 2024. Based on its findings, staff recommends approval of this request to zone the subject properties to FRD Flexible Review District with conditions. And those conditions are that number 1, the site is subject to all applicable requirements of the City of Travelers Rest zoning ordinance, as well as all other applicable ordinances. That includes the lighting ordinance and other ordinances as required. Number 2, all appropriate best management practices must be adhered to during development and construction to avoid negative impacts to wetlands. Number 3, any potential impact to the identified bunched arrowhead population on site must be avoided. Impacts such as tree clearing and grading to the hill slope above the identified population must be avoided so that as not to disturb the hydrology of the Piedmont seepage wetland. Number 4, documented consultation with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the SCDNR must be provided to the Planning Department before proceeding with any construction activities. And number 5, signage requires a separate permit. And that concludes staff's report.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
The applicant here, would the applicant like to make any comments or provide additional details, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Scott Gillespie. Our development company is Deep River South Development, and I appreciate the detail that Mike's gone through, and we've tried to provide also this detail. We've been working with Eric and Mike and over the many months preceding here to make sure that we present something that makes sense. And also, from my own personal opinion, on the to minimize or reduce the environmental impacts, it's not because we have to do it, it's because I want to do it. Because at the end of the day, if people get out of or drive through a community and don't get a sense that it's well cared for or well managed or it has appeal, they're not going to want to live there. And I've known that from the 40-plus years that I've been doing this. So I've paid special attention to make sure that every element that was identified in this is going to be protected, and that we're going to do everything to also maximize its appeal, because the number one thing that people want is access to walking trails, open space, park areas, all those sort of things. If you've had a chance to read our rather in-depth description of the community, it has those things. And it is a 55-plus community. I don't want to necessarily need to go into all of the benefits of having a 55-plus community in your town, but the impacts to schools compared to a normal subdivision, minimized traffic, minimized, all that is pretty well documented, not just here in TR, but around the country, really, that these kind of communities do. And I'll say this, and hopefully it's my closing argument, or not argument, but position. I have been looking for quite some time for a property exactly like this, and honestly wanted to find it in TR, and felt so fortunate to have discovered this one and be able to do something that fit with the comprehensive plan, that I knew we could do the kind of product that we wanted to do, and offer it for a market that's not been met. The single-family communities for seniors are very limited in this area. There's lots of first-time home buyers. There's lots of product that's for townhomes and for, people moving up, in the Cliffs communities and even in town here. But there's very little that's geared to the senior, and that's what we've made this community. So I'm very proud to bring this before you, and I think that the science speaks to what we're proposing as being valid, and I hope you'll agree.
Thank you, Mr. Gillespie. Fellow Commissioners, does anyone have a conflict of interest or is ex parte communication disclosed for this request? All right, hearing none, I will open the floor for public hearing about this item. If you would like to share a comment, please approach the microphone, give us your name and address, and sign the form in front of you likewise. You will have 3 minutes to share your comment. Reminder that this is a public hearing, not an opportunity for back and forth discussion. Also, if someone speaking before you has already made your comment, please just state you agree with their comment. You do not need to restate the entire comment. So if anyone who would, from the public, would like to come up and make a statement or comment, please do. Welcome to the microphone.
Yes, my name's Bobby Howe. I live at 35 Sunset Court, and we're on the adjacent property to the east of this new proposed development. And myself and our neighbors are most concerned. The wetlands are a big portion of it, but what a lot of it was missed is it's a huge animal migratory path too, because the Enoree River follows along the south side of this, and all the migratory pattern along the Enoree Basin through Brazier's property, across Coleman's, all the way across to Highway 25. We've already been seeing a lot of impact from animals hit on 25, being pushed out of their normal habitat. And the bunched arrowhead, of course, is very, it's a federally endangered plant too. And I understand what he's doing there, but what's most concerning, and we're not against the development of the property, we're most concerned about the density. That's 87 units. Basically, if you took a drive, between now and the other readings that we're having around this property here, and I'm sure plenty of you guys have done that before too, that many units is the impact that we're most concerned about. We all own basically 6 to 10 acre properties just to the east, right across the creek there, to the center line of the creek. And the other part, the Rewa new trunk line, just went along the southern portion of it, but a lot of natural area in there, all the green represented by the green there, but just that many units trying to cohabitate with the current, all these years it's been agricultural. There was one home on it prior to that, was the old home place for the Bowers family. And that's our biggest concern with it, even more so than the traffic. We know that the traffic study was done, and I discussed that with Dennis today a little bit about the traffic study, how it was proposed, and that's not as big a concern as just the density of the properties compacted into that amount of area. It's almost like the drawing sort of tells the tale there, but to physically see it is quite another picture when you see how much area can't be used, and then trying to compact 87, even though they're single family units, into that amount of areas, is our concern. With the impact, the light ordinance, the noise, light, everything that will be, coming along with that will be cohabitate with this new development in a manageable, sustainable way. And that's pretty much all I have.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
How you doing? I'm Mike Cullen. I live at 108 Beverly Court. Main concern we have is our neighbors in the Bowers Corner development. So to get to our neighborhood, typically people come up north of 25, and there's a left-hand turn lane to get there. And the two issues there are it's only about 3 cars or 2 cars worth of space. And with 87 houses going in and people going up 25, that's probably the quickest way to get there. You're gonna get a backup of cars on 25, and that highway already, people are going 70 when it's supposed to be, 55. And plus, when you take that left, there's a blind hill that that the oncoming traffic's coming up. So by the time you take that turn, if you see someone coming, I mean, you gotta hit that gas to, get, across there, or you're gonna be cutting it close. So, wanted to bring it to the attention that the traffic report, yeah, it's 55 plus, but still cars are gonna be there. People are gonna need to take left into the community. And, when you got a semi-truck zooming past you in the left-hand turn lane at 70 miles an hour in a 55, thinking about 4 more people trying to take that left and you have to get in the grass, it's gonna become an issue. So I just wanted to bring that up. And, we got our whole community wanted to be here, but just sent a couple of us to express that concern.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. We're hearing no more comments. The floor is now closed for a public hearing. Do any members of the commission have any questions for the staff or the applicant for this particular project? Go ahead, Ben.
For the applicant, it may have been said, but I might have missed it. What type of homes are these? Are they single family? Are they going to be standalone? Because they appear to be no spacing between them, right? Townhome type homes, or are they home
They're all
homes?
single-family detached, yeah.
Detached.
Yeah.
And are they going to be brick?
Yeah, they're going to be hardy stone material, no vinyl siding. They're, in a price point range, they're going to be from $350 to $500 on the typical. Probably, I think we estimated the average would be about $475, given the quality standards that we're making part of the community. But they're all detached.
They're generally 3-2s or different
I'm sorry?
bedroom, bathroom,
Oh, they're going to be all ranch homes,
all ranch?
but they will have lofts, okay? Because lofts are, within the roof space and that sort of thing. So they'll have dormers in that, but basically they're going to be one-story homes. If you look at the profile that was in the one thing, that it shows the relationship of the site to the roadway, how it all drops off. Some areas more than others. And we'll get into this in the final development plan, certainly, but with the space that we're creating in that buffer and the berm and the landscaping, basically you're not going to be looking into the windows, you're going to be looking down over the community as you would drive by, but it's going to be very intensely buffered in
So
that.
the berms will be along Bowers mainly?
Bowers Road. We also took, I don't know if you noticed, but on the Coleman, rather than have 7 individual driveways, we've created a separate private drive, so the access can be from one point to get to those 7 homes. So I think it's a little neater and cleaner access to have that. I've done that at other smaller developments like this, and it works out really well.
Are there similar developments in the upstate that,
Like this, no, that's why I'm so excited about doing it, because I think that they're all over the country. I mean, all over. But I have not seen, and there may be, but I'm just not familiar with, over 55 single-family, high-quality, 60% open space communities. Yeah.
are there any planned, I'm sure there'll be an HOA, are you going to manage it in-house or external or?
Yeah, it'll be professionally managed by an HOA company. I have one company that I really like that does very well. And I don't know if you had a chance to read it, but also what's good about this, and I've done a lot of these up in the Midwest, where it's I call it managed maintenance. So the whole community, all the lawns are maintained. It's not like they can elect, well, I'll mow my own lawn. No, I'm sorry, that's part of the HOA fee. We're going to have all of the lawns, all of the common area managed by one by the HOA management, that they'll hire that company. So what it does, and I see it time and time again, when you have that, it creates a much higher level of consistent quality of the management of the community. Some people say, well, I want to mow my own lawn. Well, maybe that's not the place for you. If you want to have some place that's consistent, high quality, and everything's maintained, and it's not that expensive. I've done the numbers on it, and the cost to have that HOA do it, it's about half of what somebody would be charged if they individually tried to do it. So this is a big part of this, is to have that managed maintenance of the whole entire community.
And so, sorry, just for more clarity for
Yeah.
me. Are there any amenities other than the managed maintenance and
Oh, yeah.
activities? Is there a clubhouse? I can't really.
Yeah, no, what we're doing is, they're in the, I don't know if it was in the document, but I included a lot of pictures that will be also included in the final development plan, but we're gonna have, I call it an amenity park. We're gonna have a pickleball court. We're gonna have a small stage, because I find a lot of these not senior communities, but over 55, that, some light entertainment, or a place to have some weekend entertainment in the summer. There's a lot of performers that like to do that kind of thing, and it's tucked back in there.
And those will be down at the bottom.
It's
near
right
the-
in there, right
yeah,
by that,
the
right
lighter
off.
green, yeah.
Yes, so pickleball court, a large outdoor fire pit gathering area that kind of fits in well with also with the stage area. And, yeah, I've tried to keep it more open. It's a place, and you can see how we've taken the whole walking path, loops it all the way around, this mulch path, and connects up. So knowing that there's 2,300 feet of frontage in Bauer, I'm going to say there's probably close to, I'm going to guess, 3/4 of a mile of walking trail internal. And the other thing that they wanted us to do is to make sure that we tied that walking trail into the sewer easement area, so that if they ever wanted to do a bike path extension or a walking path extension. So we're going to make that happen. But that's, yeah.
And then the Arrowwood area, did I read there'd be a boardwalk through there or something?
No, the arrowhead is to the north of where I
Okay.
want to do the boardwalk. There's no arrowhead where
Go there at
where I
all.
want to do the board, and I want to do the boardwalk, so we're not impacting the actual
Right.
soft ground that's there. And I've got a picture of that also in the thing. It's a low-scale boardwalk. But the bunched arrowhead is up to the north, and when we got into this, I wanted to make absolutely sure with my environmental consultant, and I said, you need to document this, that with our development plan as we've got it, we're not going to impact that arrowhead. And he wrote the letter. He says, based on your engineering plan, you're not disturbing the surface waters that serve that area. And so, yeah, it's important for me to save that. And so nothing is there. It's going to be left totally as it is.
How do you anticipate the phasing to go?
Well, we'll do the Coleman Road 7 lots right away. That's sort of, let's call it a model center, okay? So that while we're finishing the other development, and it'll probably be done as far as construction activity, pretty much be happening all at once, but as far as bringing units online, it'll be done, as the plan is to bring it in 2 phases of about half and half, so about 40 and 40.
You're going to grade all at one time?
That's correct, yeah. Build all the infrastructure, build the amenity park, all that'll be done up front.
I have a question. Paraphrase of what I heard the public comments, but everything from traffic flow, increased traffic, and issues. Light pollution and those types of things, was there any consideration given to less density? Because I think that's the main thing I heard from the public.
Yeah, this is the density is 1.75, which, and some people may disagree, that's very low density in terms of most single-family developments today. It's kind of like, I'm going to use the analogy of a car. It's kind of like you want a nice car, and if you say, well, I want it to be economical, and I want to be able to afford it, and I want it to look good, but I want you to add more chrome to it, or make it heavier and all that. And by doing that, if we did that, if we reduce the density, all these things that I want to do, we can't afford to do it. You simply have to have a base amount of homes to be able to support the infrastructure and the stuff that we're having, because if you start reducing it down, it just doesn't work. And so, and also, if you looked on the package, we've really made an attempt, and I think we've accomplished it, to keep our development almost entirely in the already cleared area. So if you look at the aerial maps, our developments is within the cleared areas already. And very, very little clearing is going to be going on additional. And we are going to we are familiar with the tree ordinance, so any that go out are going to be reproduced. So I think overall, that's why I was so happy to be able to get this site, was because it just checked so many boxes in terms of what seniors are looking for in a higher quality development.
So in and around where the bunched arrowhead sits, the lighter green open space, are you
Yes.
are you clearing that of the trees? Or are you gonna keep?
No. All that's going to be left natural right up to where you see those units, those lots indicated. All that, if it's natural now,
All around it?
all around it. Yeah, all that. If you look at an aerial photo, a GIS map,
I have.
you will see all we're going to do is clear where those lots area, and then those are represented in yellow.
So as a resident, you can't really traipse through I mean, you could, but
I'm going to
you'll make
tell
it
you.
easier to stay on the
You
path.
can't walk through those woods. I've tried, okay? I've tried. Austin and I tried to walk through to find the bunched arrowhead. We said, well, I'm going to see where this is at, and it is so difficult to walk through there. I'm age 55 plus. No one's going to be interested in walking through that. That's why we're going to do the trail with the boardwalk separate from that. And you can enjoy it, you can sense it, but you don't have to get in there to do that.
So
Yeah.
specifically north of the bunch arrowhead, it'll go all the way to the road? The woods?
Yeah, there's a woods there now, right? There's a little clearing path. We'll probably keep that. The clearing path, it's grass, we'll keep it mowed, but I wouldn't, all of the woods that are there now are going to be untouched.
And I just wanted to say, thank you for doing what you did. I read the entire packet all the way through, and you're the first person that's ever come in here and done the due diligence that you did to get all this stuff taken care of. I mean, through the protection and through everything else. I mean, usually we go out fighting for that ourselves, and trying to get that taken care of, and you did it up front. And those are huge issues, I think. And for those that don't know about things like the bunched arrowhead and those things, that's a federally, protected species that's only in Travelers Rest, South Carolina.
Yeah.
And all the earth. And so, just keeping that protected is huge.
I agree.
Timeline of start grading to,
Oh, it'll be summer, this summer, 6 months, 7 months, something like that.
to encourage golf cart usage?
That's a good question. That could be. I haven't gotten that far with it, but I would think so.
I don't know if there's a safe access to downtown TR.
Well, I don't know about outside. I'm saying
Outside,
internal to
within,
get
of
to
course,
the
but
park.
yeah.
You'll find at most of these things, everybody's walking. Walking is the biggest, where they wouldn't do it before because it was a normal subdivision, whatever. You'll find at these, when you have sidewalks, because we'll have sidewalks, we know what the code is, but we'll also have that, you'll find that people will walk. So, yeah.
Do you have any other developments in Greenville County?
Do I have any others? Yeah, well, we've probably done, they're conventional. They're single-family communities all over. It's on my website. If you go to deepriversouth.com, you look at, they're not all listed there. We have some in Asheville, we have some townhome communities we've done. We have them in Columbia. But, and I'll say this, I know it sounds like sales talk, but I don't do a development that I'm not proud of, because I don't have to. And if I can't drive by it and feel like I'm proud of it, and I can say that about everything that we've ever built in this area and also in the Midwest. Yeah. Thank you.
Any more questions from the commission? We're good? All right. Do I have a motion from commission to approve or deny this request? Seconded? By anyone?
Second.
Any discussion, commission? Good. Hearing no more discussion, I would like to call for the vote. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by raising your right hand by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, please indicate by saying nay.
Nay.
All right, the motion to approve the denial is carried by a vote of all ayes except for one nay. And by that, we have passed that resolution by the commission.
Yes, sir. The next, any other business would be the next item on the agenda?
Do we have any other business to discuss this evening? Any commissioners? Anyone else?
And just real quick for point of order, so we can kind of give
Please.
folks an idea of what the next steps are. So this will,
Yes.
this will continue on to the city council in February. So they'll, Council Planning and Development Committee meets, along with the other committees, meet on February 5th to review this application, both the annexation and the annexation request and the rezoning request. And then it will move to full council in February. That would be the third Thursday of the month. I think that's the 19th, but don't hold me to that. I believe it's February 19th, but it'd be the third Thursday of February for first reading in front of city council. It requires 2 readings of council, both for the annexation request and for the rezoning request.
Super. Any other business to discuss, council? Hearing no more discussion, I would like to call for a vote to adjourn. All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand and saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed by saying nay. Anybody want to oppose that? This motion to adjourn is carried by a vote of